Hello there. This so-called UK-EU reset deal is nothing less than total capitulation to the Brussels Eurocrats. Once completed, this stitch-up Starmer-led UK-EU reset will just about demolish our sovereignty and independence. The Labour Party will be cock-a-hoop, as will the Lib Dems, the SNP and the Greens, and a lot of Tories too. And it won't just be 12 lords a-dancing, it will be just about all of them. The entire Ramonosphere will be celebrating into the night. Because Keir Starmer, like Esau, has sold out the UK to the EU for a mess of pottage. Not only that, Starmer will have put rocket boosters under the Reform UK electoral campaign. But a warning, this is overshadowing other big news. The UN's World Health Organization is mustering this week so that nation-states like the UK can sign up to the global health responses being directed by the WHO. Now, having read what the press is saying about Starmer's UK-EU reset, even the lefty pro-EU mainstream media, I can't identify any benefit for the UK that justifies the massive costs to the UK in terms of sovereignty. As Lord Frost said, it's been one concession after another. When the dust settles, we will find there is very little for Britain in this deal, and a lot that takes us back towards EU control. In any other context, I'd be wondering who had what dirt on who. And Brino won't be shorthand for Brexit in name only anymore. It will now stand for Britain in name only. Firstly, Keir Starmer has started the handover of our UK waters to EU control by allowing EU fishing vessels to operate in our fishing grounds for a further 12 years. Yes, 12 years. How can the government of an island nation be so footloose and fancy-free with such a major sovereign food source? And more on that one in a moment. But Starmer is also lining up to agree to the UK following EU agricultural rules, something that gives the EU legal jurisdiction over the UK once again. And I don't need to tell you what the likes of Nigel Farage and Richard Tice, as well as Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib are saying about this, because it's all over X and the news. But it's going to be worse than that, because it will mean that every single trade deal that the UK wants to do around the world in future will also have to comply with those EU rules. Yes, every deal will have to be okayed by the Brussels Eurocrats to ensure their single market won't be affected by UK external trade deals. And further, which country is going to do a trade deal with us when they don't know what we're going to agree with the EU in the future? Will Starmer be signing us up for more EU control by the back door? In all probability, yes. We'll be told that this reset doesn't go far enough. Blah, blah, blah. It's only just started, ladies and gents. I would guess that a UK-US deal will be put at the back of the queue, just like it was when we were EU members. In fact, this EU deal might even mean we have to backtrack on other deals we've already signed up to, like the post-Brexit Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, or CPTPP. Keir Starmer is in the process of completing the job started by Theresa May and continued by others of turning the UK into a colony of the European Union. And this was all Keir Starmer's idea, this reset. He was the one who trumpeted his intention to negotiate this great reset before the last election. And Brussels saw him coming from a mile away. They know exactly how huge the political capital Starmer has tied up in this reset deal is. Hence, they were able to force him to extend EU fishing rights for 12 years, more than twice the 5 years Starmer had already said he was comfortable with. The EU knows that had he left the reset meetings with no deal, then he would have felt his reputation would have been trashed with his WEF-style buddies. You can forget the rest of us. As judged by these actions, he has no care for the average Brit. Now, Keir Starmer is a lawyer. He reads the laws and obeys them. In fact, it makes life extremely easy for him if the law is laid out clearly by other people and he just has to work within that framework. It also makes life much easier for our parliamentarians in the Houses of Commons and Lords, as well as for the work-from-home civil service, because all they have to take home with them is an EU rubber stamp. Now, Ted Heath sold out our fishing community to get us into the common market. The Tories sold out our fishing community during the Brexit talks. And now Keir Starmer and Labour have sold out our fishing community for his Great Reset scam. The fishing community cannot trust the Tories nor Labour. Now, on fishing, we're being informed that allowing EU boats to operate in UK waters will allow UK trawler operators to more easily sell into the EU, so boosting their trade. But at the same time, the UK government is going to give our coastal communities an extra 360 million quid to compensate them. And on these food dynamic alignment rules, we're being told that it will be democratic because MPs can vote the associated statutory instruments out, when in truth they can't, because it would interfere with this new reset. So it won't happen given the huge Labour majority. And we're also told that it's just an alignment, and we can align with anyone we like. But the EU is the only body that insists its court, the ECJ, has jurisdiction over us. No other country or body, like the US or the CPTPP, ever demands that, do they? So why the shameless rush by sellout Starmer to tie us to the EU? Unless the thought of an independent sovereign UK is abhorrent to him. And worse, he's about to sign His Majesty's Armed Forces up for EU servitude too, something I take it our monarch must have already agreed to. Now we come to those ardent pro-EU Lib Dems. Their leader, Ed Davey, said, "The Prime Minister must ignore the naysayers and dinosaurs in Reform and the Conservative Party and be more ambitious in getting the best deal in the national interest." Which means Dippy Davey wants to see an even bigger sellout to the EU with even more ECJ control. Don't be like Dippy Davey. Finally, please like, subscribe and comment below, and a big shout out to our Patreon supporters, and thank you for watching.